A professor stood before his philosophy class and had some items in front of him. When the class began, he picked up a very large and empty mayonnaise jar and proceeded to fill it with golf balls. He then asked the students if the jar was full. They agreed that it was. The professor then picked up a box of pebbles and poured them into the jar. He shook the jar lightly. The pebbles rolled into the open areas between the golf balls. He then asked the students again if the jar was full. They agreed it was. The professor next picked up a box of sand and poured it into the jar. Of course, the sand filled up everything else. He asked once more if the jar was full. The students responded with a unanimous yes. The professor then produced the beers from under the table and poured the entire contents into the jar, effectively filling the empty space between the sand. The students laughed. Now, said the professor as the laughter subsided, I want you to recognize that this jar represents your life. Every pixel of space which is not occupied is a pixel where you can be. The golf balls are the big bullets. Suns, trauma bursts, anchors, moons and such, and if everything else was cleared and only they remained, you would probably dodge them without even focusing. The pebbles fly, the other things project with light bubble bullets and roses. The sand is everything else, the small white bullets and the bullets indeed. If you focus on the sand in the jar first, he continued, there is no time to react to the pebbles or the golf balls. You will not be able to survive. If you spend all your time and concentration on the small stuff, you will never have room for the things that are the large. Pay attention to the things that are critical to the safety of your. Spend time memorizing the pattern of the big bullets. Spend time to the wave, stream and turn whenever you have space. When you are out of space, there will always be time to amass grace points and capture them. Take care of the golf balls first, the things that really matter. Set your priorities. The rest is just sand, but be sure to dodge the sand as well. One of the students raised her hand and inquired what the beer represented. The professor smiled and said, I'm glad you asked. The beer just shows you that no matter how full your screen may seem, it can always end more.